Throughout this show, there are a lot of episode titles that have some symbolism or double meaning. Sometimes the titles are just something basic and obvious. The point is, I didn't take any time to talk about them before, so I wanted to mention each title now. Gem Glow, Steven's gem glows. Laser light cannon, they find and shoot off the light cannon. Cheeseburger backpack, Steven wears a cheeseburger backpack on a mission. Together breakfast, Steven makes waffles and calls it a together breakfast. Are you noticing a pattern with these early ones? Frybo, Cat Fingers, Bubble Buddy, Serious Steven, Tiger Millionaire, and Steven's Lion are all self-explanatory titles. Arcade Mania, Garnet goes a bit crazy when she starts playing an arcade game. Giant Woman, So Many Birthdays, and Lars and the Cool Kids are self-explanatory. Onion Trade, Steven trades a magic wand for a toy with Onion, but this might also be a reference to a law in the United States that bans trading futures contracts on onions. That's real, look it up. Steven the Sword Fighter, Pearl tries to teach Steven sword fighting, but it's misleading because Steven never actually touches a sword. Lion 2, the movie, this is the second Lion episode, and Steven and Connie go see a movie. Beach Party, Rose's Room, Coach Steven are all self-explanatory. Joking Victim is a play on the phrase choking victim, because Lars chokes on a spicy donut as the result of a prank. I said that in that episode. Steven and the Stevens and Monster Buddies are self-explanatory. An indirect kiss referenced Steven's healing spit, which he indirectly exchanged with Connie when he shared his juice box. Mirror Gem, Ocean Gem, and House Guest are all self-explanatory. Space Race is not an actual Cold War space race. Maybe it's a reference to how gems are a race of aliens from space. Secret Team, Island Adventure, and Keep Each City Weird are self-explanatory. Fusion Cuisine is a play on the actual phrase fusion cuisine, where you combine foods from different cultures, and all of the gems fuse into Alexandrite to come to dinner. Garnet's Universe and Watermelon Steven are self-explanatory. Lion 3 Straight to Video is a play on the previous Lion title, the video being the tape rose quartz left behind in Lion's mane. Alone Together can have all sorts of meanings, but the main one is that Steven and Connie are fused together into Stevani, but no matter where they go, they feel alone, like they don't belong. Warp Tour, Steven and the Gems travel to a bunch of different warps, but it's also a reference to the Warped Tour, a traveling music festival. The Test, Future Vision, On the Run, and Horror Club are all self-explanatory. Winter Forecast has Steven using Future Vision to predict what will happen during the coming snowstorm. Maximum Capacity, Greg's storage unit is full of junk, but also the tension between him and Amethyst reaches a breaking point. Marble Madness is about the toothpaste robots, but is also the name of an arcade game. Rose's Scabbard is about Rose's Scabbard. This one does not have a double meaning. Do not let your disgusting brain go there. Open Book is about Steven and Connie discussing a book, and Steven telling the truth to Connie by the end. Shirt Club is like one of those memberships where you sign up to get a t-shirt each month. Say Uncle is an expression you'd use when you want the other person to beg for mercy or for something to end. I actually think that's fucking hilarious for that episode. Story for Steven and The Message are self-explanatory. Political Power has Steven teaming up with the mayor to deal with a power outage. The Return, Peridot returns to Earth, but also Steven returns to the Gems after they try to get him to safety. And finally, Jailbreak. They all break out of jail. This is the episode that made me actually start interacting with the fandom. I thought the show was fun, but after this episode I saw some things that made me realize that people are probably talking about this show on the internet. Then a couple months later, I released the first episode of Crystal Sins. The rest is history.
Amethyst? Pearl?
This episode isn't fucking around. Right away, Steven wakes up with a nasty-looking black eye from Jasper smashing his skull in. I mean, it's not that nasty-looking. This is a Cartoon Network show after all. They can do magical alien body horror all day, but showing real injuries on the human main character, that's a no-go. Also, pretty obvious. It wouldn't take any time at all to figure out that we're aboard Peridot's hand ship now. And check out the diamond imagery everywhere. Even in this second shot, the floor is a diamond shape on the ground. I failed to mention it in last episode because so much else was going on, but Jasper mentioned Yellow Diamond.
It wasn't relevant to the mission.
Forget about the mission.
What?
Yellow Diamond needs to see this thing.
So now there's this seed planted in the viewer's head about diamonds. Yellow diamond even. Yellow diamond implies that there are more colors of diamonds. And again, there are a lot of diamond symbols, especially yellow diamonds, all over the ship. Not only that, but Peridot and Jasper are wearing them as part of their outfits.
Amethyst? Pearl? Garnet.
This is kinda cheating, right? This is not the color that Garnet's gems were in the last episode. I know color grading and all that messed everything up, but this flashback where they're bright red and blue always bothered me. We've already seen gem tech like this before, these glassy vein things I mean. Inside the temple and attached to the crystal heart. This ship and the temple must be powered in some similar way. Throughout this scene, there's a voice echoing through the hall. We haven't met the character yet, but it's Ruby, and my guess is that she's trying over and over to break through the energy barrier. So if Steven could go straight through this barrier, these cells obviously weren't made for containing other forms of life, only gems. So why have so many cells? This whole ship, it seems, is like a prison transport. Now that we're getting into gem stuff outside of Earth, we can start seeing things that show the gem empire is way bigger than what we actually see in the show. This ship having so many prison cells makes me think that it was totally filled at one point. But we never see another gem prisoner, let alone one get transported.
Ew. Cool.
This is so in character for Steven. Even after getting beaten, it's such a Steven reaction. In fact, I think this episode is great for Steven's character overall. He's so take charge and benevolent, and never in a bad mood. Okay, this has to be like a cold shower. Or like, have you ever touched your tongue to a brand new 9-volt battery? I bet walking through this feels like that all over your body. I want to try that at least once. Alright, Ruby. This episode is her first appearance officially. We've never seen her before, Steven's never seen her before. And with this being a prison transport ship, it makes you think that she was picked up before Jasper and Peridot made their way to Earth. This show loves to do red herrings, like I've said in previous episodes. And this is like the prime red herring in this show. Haha, red, that was not intentional.
Do you need any help?
No! I mean, don't look at me! Just go away.
She says don't look at me. Why? Because Steven's not supposed to see her until his birthday. I think that's cute. Ruby's in prison and she's still being considerate of Garnet's plan.
Hey, wait! You're out! How did you get past the field?
Doesn't the ship have, I don't know, security cameras, automated defenses? What's with Steven escaping and not triggering any alarms or getting the attention of someone at the helm? Seems like a bad prison design. I would want a camera on the supposed leader of the Earth Rebellion 24/7. Whoa, look at that slide. That's some baseball shit. I think this show should have had an episode where it was like a bunch of rubies and they were all playing baseball. It's a shame that we never got that.
Hey, my name's Steven, by the way. What's yours?
Quiet! I can't see.
There was a fan theory back in the day that Ruby was blind solely based on this line. I don't know how people came to that conclusion because of how much seeing she does in this episode. What's really happening is that she can't see with future vision. I bet not having that is like wandering around without your glasses. It would probably drive you insane.
She stopped singing. Sapphire!
Ruby's kinda stupid, right? That's kind of the point, I suppose. They're supposed to be sneaking around. Nobody knows they escaped yet, but here she goes yelling and screaming. I guess she could have been doing that without escaping. I always thought they were really high up in this episode, like to space level. Part of me still thinks they are, but the other part of me sees these clouds out at and above this ship's height and thinks that something isn't quite adding up.
Once we get back to Homeworld, they're going to decide what to do with us.
That's not something I considered, really. What would they do with the crystal gems if they made it to Homeworld? Does everyone get instantly shattered, bubbled, tortured? We'll never find out. Again, I'm curious about the whole punishment system they have in the Gem Empire.
But they're mean. They hurt my friends. They hurt my face. They've got you here in prison.
That's why we can't fight them.
That's why we have to fight them.
Man, I love this line. Steven is fully realizing his identity as a crystal gem, realizing how much different Lapis is from him and the rest of them. Lapis was loyal to Homeworld until they turned her away or something. It wasn't actually clear. She was never a rebel, so liberty as a concept doesn't even exist in her mind. Is Steven extra huge in this shot, or am I being optically illused?
Rose Quartz takes priority. Get back to the bridge and set a course for Homeworld.
So is Jasper in charge, or is Peridot? Whose ship is it? We see Peridot at the helm later in the episode, so all logic points to her being the captain. But being at the helm doesn't mean you're in charge. If Jasper can tell Peridot that the plan has changed, that makes me think she's in charge. I don't know, it's actually not clear. Nor is it important. Welcome to Gemology.
Go to Earth, they said. It'll be easy, they said.
Man, I love snarky, sarcastic villain Peridot. I love Peridot in general, but she gets totally flanderized later on. I'll take my time and enjoy her while I can. Also, how the fuck did Steven get away with hiding right in plain sight twice? That bright pink shirt is super fucking obvious in this well-lit green ship. He should have been caught for sure.
like your song.
Sapphire's song, of course, has the same melody as the song Garnet sings in this episode. You know how characters have instruments as leitmotifs? Pearl has piano, Steven has chiptune, etc. Garnet has synth bass, but Ruby and Sapphire don't get instruments. Instead, they get a more traditional leitmotif in the form of this melody. It comes back a lot in later episodes.
Are you Sapphire?
You escaped. Of course.
Of course, she says, as if she saw into the fucking future. Oh, wait.
Thank you, Steven.
You're welcome.
I know there's a lot going on, Steven is breaking everyone out of the brig, but isn't he even a little suspicious that this gem he's never met, Sapphire, knows his name? Not even just a little teeny tiny bit? Speaking of breaking people out of the brig and Steven not knowing who they are, how is Steven so sure that these aren't, like, super criminals? I'm just saying, don't go around breaking people out of prison just because that's what you want to do.
Ruby!
Did they hurt you?
No, I'm okay.
They didn't? Were you watching a different show than me last episode?
Steven! Thank you.
Dude, this scene always puts a gigantic dumb smile on my face. This reveal is so perfect. I shouldn't have to talk about why it's so perfect. But I'm gonna talk about it anyway because that's what this show is. Throughout the show so far, there were all sorts of hints pointing toward Garnet being a fusion. Firstly, that she had 2 gems, 2 lights on the temple door, that one scene in Future Cuisine where she almost unfuses. She's also present and enthusiastic whenever fusion is being discussed or demonstrated, especially with Stevani. The show laid out all these puzzle pieces for you to put together, and it still managed to mislead you with these 2 mystery gems, right up until the very moment they refuse. It's fucking awesome. Again, I saw this scene when I was younger and immediately went to see what people were saying about this episode online. It's the first time this show paid out on so much foreshadowing. It was awesome. I got so excited to see what was coming up next. All that being said, I know gems get new designs when they reform, but what's with Garnet changing colors so much? She was basically red before, now she's more purple or magenta.
Well, did I make a good first impression?
Oh, Steven, we already love you.
Even if this wasn't the case, I think breaking her out of prison would be a pretty good first impression.
Future vision.
Garnet being able to share her future vision is so useful and borderline overpowered that she should be doing it constantly. It's a shame that the next time it's used is one of the worst episodes in the show. Check out the symbol on the floor, it's the Era 2 diamond symbol, and it's not the first time we see it. I pointed it out all the way back in Sirius Steven. That episode had a lot of lore implications, it's crazy.
Fusion is just a cheap tactic to make weak gems stronger.
Fusion is just a cheap tactic to make weak gems stronger. I don't have anything to say about that line, I just think it's a good line and I wanted to say it too. Actually, I do have something to say. It's kind of neat how Jasper doesn't see fusion as gross or taboo, like we see with gems later in the show. Her reaction is akin to someone using cheesy moves in a fighting game. Not like it's not allowed or anything, but that it's just like fighting on easy mode. Jasper is almost knowingly handicapping herself. This all comes up at the end of the episode as well.
This is Garnet, back together. And I'm never going down at the hands of the likes of you because I'm so much better. And every part of me is saying, go get her.
This scene is like peak Steven universe. I don't know how else to explain it. There's magical fighting, fusion, and a song. Not only is it one of the best songs in the show, but it's a scene that only this show could have pulled off. Having a character sing during an intense fight scene is one thing, but the whole song is about fusion, which is unique to this show. I would talk about the song itself, but I don't have anything to say other than it's really fucking good song. Go listen to it. Fuck it, go watch the whole episode. I gotta stop and point out how much of an absolute unit Jasper is. Garnet's always been the tallest gem aside from Rose Quartz in the flashbacks. But in this episode, Jasper is like twice her size. It makes it all the more impressive that Garnet ends up winning this fight. A lot of the face punching was censored in other countries. Both Garnet and Jasper take a bunch of hits to the face during this fight, and they're all fully animated. I guess I understand not wanting to show young kids this kind of violence.
Don't touch that! You don't know what you're doing! You got this, Pearl!
There's Amethyst's 1 out of 2 lines this episode, followed by Pearl's 1 out of 2 lines. Again, this is a Garnet episode. I understand why they both got sidelined a little bit.
Okay, ship, turn us around.
Do you think this feels good, or is it like sticking your hands in a bucket of ice water? I don't know, alongside walking through that jail cell force field, I want to find out what this feels like. You may have thought this whole song and fight sequence was breaking the Stevens point of view rule, but nope. Here he is watching it all unfold on CCTV. I knew this ship had security cameras. Why are none of them pointed at the actual cells?
Go ahead and try hit me if you're able.
I don't know if this is a stock impact sound effect or not, but it definitely lets you feel that Garnet just took a big meaty fist to the face. Gotta praise the sound designers again. Jasper does the Sonic the Hedgehog spin dash a couple times during this fight. We've seen Amethyst do this a few times in the past. How did Jasper not get killed by this? This is the same energy that the doors use in those destabilizer things use, as far as I can tell. Is Jasper just that built that she can tank a whole spaceship's worth of gem magic and survive? Peridot makes her escape. This is one of several loose ends that don't get tied up in this finale, so it's immediately one of the hooks for season 2. What happened to all those control surfaces? Were they all holograms that got shut off when the power was killed? The ship falling this exact specific way goes against all of the physics simulations that are running in my brain. Just think of how impossible all of this is. Going from orbit and happening to land not only near Beach City, but right on the hill where the temple is. Somehow falling slow enough not to damage the temple itself, let alone turning Beach City into a smoldering crater. The explosion not damaging anything or killing anyone on board. It all feels like it's hand-waved. It's not unforgivable, but I think it's the weakest part of this finale. Haha, hand-waved. That was also not intentional. For once, I won't complain about Lion being conveniently right here when he's needed, because last episode Steven told him to stay here. And he did. Call it convenient, but it's not contrived.
I can't believe you're a fusion all the time!
You met Ruby and Sapphire?
Oh no! We were going to introduce you. Garnet, your plan.
Pearl and Amethyst talk about this like they didn't hear Sapphire singing or Ruby screaming in pain when she was punching the force field the whole time they were on the ship.
They kept you prisoner. They used you. This is your chance to take revenge.
Jasper is talking about herself here without really knowing it. I've heard this question before. Fusion is kind of a crystal gem thing, so how do Lapis and Jasper know that dancing is a sure way to fuse? That one's easy. They both were there for the war. I'm sure they saw crystal gems dancing to fuse on the battlefield. I honestly don't know how the crystal gems would have gotten anywhere in the war if they weren't using fusions all the time. This is fucking metal. Having the villain turn into a giant fusion is awesome. We've seen fusions before, but this one between just 2 gems is fucking massive. It's getting you thinking, how the fuck do they win this one? Look at how uncohesive she is as well. 6 arms, no legs, a voice that's not its own voice, but Lapis and Jasper talking at the same time. How this fusion is holding together at all is beyond me. How does any of this work? I said in Ocean Gem that we never saw another demonstration of how powerful Lapis actually was, but I guess I was wrong, because being able to trap someone in a fusion with herself and drag her down into the ocean, all without becoming unfused, seems pretty fucking overpowered. Cool as hell, but this begs some questions about power scaling that never get a clear answer.
Let's stay on this miserable planet together!
Everyone's reaction is probably exactly the same as everyone watching this episode for the first time. Jaws on the fucking floor. Even Lion is freaked out. But I bet his tiny cat brain has never seen a fusion before. But Malachite getting trapped in the ocean is another thread that goes unresolved at the end of this episode.
Hello?
Steven, I got your message. Are you okay?
And yet another thread that gets addressed in the next episode is Connie calling Steven. This episode really resolved one thing and introduced 3 new things that need to be addressed. I doubt anyone was worried that there wouldn't be another season. These 2 episodes are a fantastic finale to season 1, and probably the best finale in the show. Yeah, I can already hear you typing your comments. Like I said last episode as well, they're pretty reminiscent of Mirror Gem and Ocean Gem. The first part consists of tense buildup with a dramatic climax right at the end of the episode. And the second part is all about fun and action and magical gem stuff. This episode had fusions, the Garnet reveal and Malachite, fighting, and even singing. I think the only thing missing from Ocean Gem was a song. So this episode having such a killer song feels like it was firing on all cylinders the whole time. But what I think is really cool about this finale is that it doesn't really feel final, if that makes sense. Like I said, it solved one mystery and then introduced a bunch more. The story isn't over, far from it. I've seen so many shows end their seasons as if it's at the end of the show, where they just kill all the momentum and have to build it back up at the beginning of next season. Prime example is Legend of Korra. But Steven Universe's seasons don't really feel like that, because they never let the momentum slow down at all. The train keeps moving. I've grown to love Season 1 so much after getting to do videos on each of these episodes. There's so much about the early show that I've grown to appreciate. Being able to see where the show started shifting from Monster of the Week to serialized adventure is really cool. It really makes me appreciate how the episodes were structured and how they were ordered. I couldn't tell you if I like Season 1B better or Season 2. I suppose I'll have to keep going to find out. I'm tempted to keep going right away, but it's the end of Season 1 and I've been telling myself that I need to take a break for a bit to keep myself from burning out. I'll be back in a couple weeks, and when I do come back, if you want to see new episodes a week before they premiere on YouTube, you can subscribe to my Patreon for just a couple bucks. The link is in the description, as always. Shoutouts to my Journeyman patrons, the entire B-movie script, Henri Wickers, Bananas Are Violet, Boomblorp, Gage M, Gizmo, Primrose, Scala LD, the Tamara, Void Heart, and ZT the Fish Guy. Also, shoutouts to these apprentice patrons. Doing this series has been awesome so far. All of my patrons help me keep these videos free from sponsors, and help me keep the lights on at home. So thank you, seriously, all of you. It means the world to me that so many people love these videos. I love making them, and I'm gonna keep making them until there's no more material left for me to talk about. For now, I'm taking a break, but when Gemology comes back, the next episode is Full Disclosure. See you then.